even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management.
Yeah.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in. I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Shaquille O'Neal just shook up the entire NBA world, and the spotlight is firmly on LeBron James and Kevin Durant. These two, often seen as the leaders of today's game, are suddenly facing serious criticism. Shaq called out what he sees as one of the weakest habits in modern basketball: load management. He's fed up with players sitting out games while taking home huge paychecks, and his comments are being felt across the league. And the timing? Not a coincidence. This came right after LeBron and Durant lightly dismissed Michael Jordan's legacy on their podcast. Shaq didn't appreciate that. He stepped in to remind everyone who built the foundation they're standing on today. His response wasn't soft or subtle. Shaq spoke directly and forcefully, making it clear he wasn't holding anything back.
So you want me to pay you $30 million to play 30 games? Hell no. No. 80 games is fine, because I did it. Jerry West did it. Kareem did it. Magic did it. Bird did it. Bernard King, like all the great legends before us did it.
When the topic of load management came up, Shaq didn't hold back for a moment. He cut right through the excuses and made his point loud and clear. He reminded everyone that the legends who built the league didn't have high-tech recovery tools, private treatment rooms, or expensive gadgets. They relied on toughness, pride, and showing up every night. Those players gave everything to the game, while earning a fraction of what today's stars make. And when someone tried to corner him by asking whether the NBA season has too many games, Shaq shut it down instantly. No, he said. If we played every game, they can too. No sympathy, no softening his stance, just the old-school mentality he's always stood for. His message was simple: stop complaining and start competing. But the modern players weren't going to let that slide quietly. As soon as Shaq made his comments, several current stars rushed to respond. Draymond Green jumped in right away, firing back on social media like he'd been singled out. Then Austin Rivers added even more fuel to the debate when he was asked about the 65-game rule, the same one Charles Barkley once argued should be at least 70.
Well, I think it's actually quite bullshit myself is to incorporate something at this point.
It's ridiculous. I love Charles Barkley. He's wrong.
Yeah. Well, so the older guys, they played all the games. It's
cool, man. And now they walk around and their fucking knees.
Rivers tried to stand up for today's players by saying the older generation destroy their bodies, so the current stars shouldn't follow the same path. That's really the argument now. Acting like playing basketball is some kind of unbearable sacrifice instead of an incredible job that pays more than most people will ever see. Some players talk as if earning tens of millions to play the game is a burden. Even Nikola Jokic added his 2 cents, saying he doesn't think anyone should be forced to play, basically admitting that if he's not feeling it, he'd rather sit out. And that attitude, treating effort like it's optional, is exactly what Shaq is calling out. But things really started heating up once LeBron James and Kevin Durant entered the picture. While Shaq was criticizing the new generation for skipping games, LeBron and Durant were on LeBron's Mind the Game podcast dropping quiet, calculated shots at Michael Jordan. They didn't name him directly, of course. They're too media polished for that. But the message was obvious. Durant started by talking about longevity, making it sound like playing for many years puts him on a different level. As soon as he said it, LeBron started laughing, and the camera caught the whole moment. That little grin said everything. They knew exactly what they were hinting at. The idea that Jordan stopped too early, while LeBron's endless seasons somehow make him tougher or more committed. The shade wasn't loud, but it was unmistakable.
I mean, definitely forcing players to play. We saw what happened with Joel. But it's something that probably league wants to, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in. I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Then LeBron said something that left fans stunned. When he was asked about his connection to the game, he casually replied, "Just basketball. Just basketball." That's how he described the sport that turned him into a global icon and billionaire, the very thing his entire career and legacy are built on. Michael Jordan never spoke that way. For him, basketball wasn't just work. It meant everything. It was his drive, his purpose, his battle, every night. When Jordan was asked about his mindset, he kept it simple. I played to win. That was it. No ego, no excuses. He didn't treat the game like a shift on a schedule. He lived it every day. His teammates saw that fire up close. One of Jordan's early teammates once shared how, even in his second season, MJ would show up to practice hurt, tape up his ankle, and still dominate. He refused to sit out. But LeBron and Durant didn't stop there. They kept throwing light jabs at Jordan's era. LeBron took aim at the triangle offense, the very system that powered both Jordan and Kobe to multiple titles. He suggested today's playing style is more advanced, more complicated, and tougher than the basketball Jordan played. And then he went even further, questioning why people put so much weight on championships in the first place.
The practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. And so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so he's like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit up? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I got to be there.
I twisted my ankle and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. This is, you need to. I said, no, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
To try to run the triangle offense right now, it'd be very challenging, just because how the game is played and also how defense is covering. It's funny. I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the all be all of everything.
Yes, LeBron James. The same player who teamed up with stars in Miami, pushed for big names in Cleveland, and built his own roster in LA, is now saying championships don't define greatness. And the reason is obvious. He knows he's not getting to Jordan's 6 titles, so he's shifting the conversation towards stats and longevity instead. That's why Larry Bird's old comments hit even harder today. Bird once said real basketball isn't about saving your energy for a long career. It's about giving everything you've got every night. No excuses. Hustling for loose balls, battling for rebounds, defending like your life depends on it. That's the mentality that pushed Bird to the limit and is partly why his career lasted only 13 seasons. Jordan was the same way. He poured everything into winning, not into stretching his career as long as possible. Meanwhile, LeBron openly talks about load management. The contrast couldn't be more obvious. When reporters recently asked him if playing all 82 games was still one of his goals, his answer was full of explanations and reasons why it might not happen. You could tell he was preparing fans for the nights he's planning to sit out. It felt like an early warning to lower expectations. And that right there is the dividing line between him and Michael Jordan. Jordan's mindset was completely different. It set the standard for an entire era.
Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy because that's what basketball is all about.
Maybe that's the goal. But
Jordan viewed being an NBA player as an honor, not a burden. He understood that he was getting paid millions to play a sport that countless people would give anything to play. In his mind, the absolute minimum you owed the game was to show up and give your best every night. He took that responsibility seriously. He carried it with pride, knowing fans, teammates, and kids everywhere were watching him. When he was asked about load management, Jordan didn't dance around the topic. He simply said, if I'm healthy enough to walk, I'm healthy enough to play. That was his whole philosophy. No special treatment, no planned rest, just a commitment to compete. Even Tracy McGrady, who entered the league long after Jordan's prime, understood this mindset. McGrady once said that sitting out a game against another great player would feel like disrespecting the sport itself. That's how much the older generation valued competition. And that brings us to Kevin Durant's little baseball joke about Jordan. When Durant smirked and said, "Some people play baseball," he wasn't just being funny, he was crossing a line. He brushed off the real reason behind Jordan's 1993 retirement, a moment filled with heartbreak. Jordan didn't leave basketball because he was bored or needed a break. That same summer, his father, James Jordan, was murdered during a robbery. His father was the person who fueled his drive and supported his journey. Losing him shattered Jordan, and stepping away from the game was part of trying to cope with that loss. That context matters, and Durant ignoring it came off as disrespectful, not clever.
You know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck, right?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me and I want to shut him up. So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens. Well, it shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. You know, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. The fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
There's no way I was going to take load management when the guys I named yesterday are Kobe or AI, Paul Pierce, Vince, so those guys come into my building.
Jordan stepped away from basketball to honor his father by chasing their shared dream of playing professional baseball. It wasn't about ego, burnout, or boredom. It was about grief and love. So when Durant smirks about it and LeBron laughs along, they're not just taking shots at history. They're making fun of one of the most painful chapters of Jordan's life. Turning a moment filled with heartbreak into a joke is more than disrespectful. It's tone-deaf. And here's the part that makes Durant's jab even more ironic. He is the last person who should be calling anyone a quitter. This is the same Kevin Durant who, after blowing a 3-1 lead to the Golden State Warriors in 2016, joined the exact team that knocked him out. A 73-win super team already built around Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. That decision wasn't just controversial. It's still known as one of the weakest moves in NBA history. Jordan's retirement, on the other hand, came right after winning his third straight championship. He wasn't running from anything. He left at the peak of his power, at a level Magic, Bird, and Isaiah never reached. A three-peat achieved while carrying the pain of losing his father. That is what separates true legends from players who just talk like them. And Durant's track record didn't improve after Golden State. He left the Warriors, bailed on Brooklyn, asked for a trade when things got tough, and then took off again to Phoenix, chasing a fresh start every time pressure built. This is the guy trying to call Michael Jordan a quitter? Come on.
I believe that an NBA player could make $1 million. And now these guys are so lucky and blessed, and they can't play basketball 3 or 4 days a week. And I know they hide behind all the analytical bullshit from their agents and people like that. What they're really trying to do is extend their career. The way the money's been and going, it depends on who you are. You're going to be able to make another $50, $70, $100 million and probably more going forward if you can extend your career 2 or 3 years.
And then there's LeBron, the king of fresh starts. When things got tough in Cleveland the first time, he headed to Miami. When Miami began to decline in 2014, he went back to Cleveland. When that situation fell apart, he left again, this time for Los Angeles and the Hollywood spotlight. Each time the pressure rose, he found a new place to go. No real loyalty, no long-term grind, just move after move whenever the situation stopped being comfortable. Michael Jordan was the complete opposite. He didn't chase the longest career. He chased excellence. Every season was a battle, and his only goal was to push himself and his team as far as possible. In just 13 full seasons, Jordan earned 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and 9 all-defensive selections. That wasn't just greatness. It was total control of the league. Now compare that with Durant and LeBron. Together, they've played close to 40 seasons, almost 3 times as long as Jordan's prime. And combined, they have 6 championships, 5 MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, 5 scoring titles, and 5 all-defensive selections. Nearly 4 decades of basketball between them, and they still haven't matched what Jordan did in a little over a decade. Twice the time, half the results. So yes, Shaquille O'Neal didn't just criticize load management. He exposed the massive difference between today's hype and the legacy built by players like Jordan, Bird, Magic, and Shaq himself. Those guys showed up every night. No excuses. No sitting out. No mocking the legends who came before them. They respected the game, the fans, and the responsibility that came with being the best. If you think Shaq is right about today's players getting too comfortable, hit that like button. And if you believe the modern NBA needs a wake-up call, drop a comment and let me know where you stand.